All right, it is Sunday afternoon. So that yeah, I was fucking around. So that means tomorrow is back to work. Yay. Not. But it is back to work. Let me take these things off. They're just cheaters anyway. They're not real glasses. They're just these cheap-ass reading glasses. Look, now I know that this is going to get a lot of negative comments, probably from Busterland, people that just drop by. And look, I love when people drop by because you know what? If you're meek, timid, you're the fat guy wanting to get skinny or the fat girl wanting to get skinny or wanting to just drop some weight, you don't have to want to get skinny. Who the fuck wants to be skinny? Then if you're skinny and you want to gain some weight, any of these things, if you're somebody that somebody else came along and said to you, oh, you can't do that, oh, you'll never be able to do that, or you're not going to do any of these things. If you're an underdog, if you got some kind of your part of your body isn't like everybody else's, so you feel like that stands out and that somehow diminishes you in the eyes of all these fucking knuckleheads out there. Well, if any of this is true, do you feel self-conscious about anything, or you lack confidence, or any of this kind of shit, or you've been there and can relate to that, or sympathize with that, or at least have an understanding and an abundance of compassion and love for our fellow human being, then if you stop by, I want you to stick around. Because this is where you belong. This is home to you. Stop and take a look around, because we are your kindred. This is the family of man and woman, as it were. But having said all that, elaborate preface, I also just want to say that I know that this diet program that I follow, I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to think this is friggin' crazy. You're going to think it's crazy, and a lot of the busters that swing by are going to say, oh, that's horseshit, he don't know what he's talking about, that's insane. Well, I dropped, total now, I don't know, but at last count, I had dropped 17 pounds, and I did that in pretty much between 13 and 14 days. And now I'm filling back up a little bit with muscle. I haven't gained any fat back. So already my fucking weightlifting belt now, and people see me and train with me on Sundays at Retro, besides my regular crowd of guys that train with me, they know. I mean, my belt is like 4 or 5 sets of holes smaller already, right? In 13 days. I think that's pretty damn good. So how do I do it? All right, I'm going to tell you how I do it, and then I'm not encouraging you to try this. It's not for everybody. There's lots of different ways to do something. And listen, guess what? There are very few rules. Very few rules. You might as well just say there are no rules. Okay? If it works, it works. So here's what I do. I'm not trying to tell you this is the healthiest way. Don't know if it is or not. I feel great. Works. When I first start my diet, all right? First off, let me say this. I'm aware that the human body, you can predict certain things it's going to do when you throw certain type of stimuli at it. Certain things you do with your nutrition, you can kind of sort of predict that your body's going to respond to certain ways, evolutionary type of fucking thing, right? It's just like a safety type of fucking reaction or margin. It's going to try and conserve. And like I've told you again and again, your body doesn't recognize, in these regards, fat from muscle. It doesn't make a distinction. All it knows is the amount of mass. All it knows is the strain and the stress of what you're carrying on that skeletal structure. That's what it knows. So you know about the rebound thing. That's reality, right? People lose weight all the time, and then they're not making any more progress. They come off the diet, bang, they gain it back. Well, you gain it back because you didn't maintain it long enough. So when you lose weight, even if you're not making any more what you think is progress, if you're not gaining any back, stay on that diet. Stay on top of your game because you're still making progress. Because what you're doing now is trying to establish a reset. You're trying to get your body to adapt and say, okay, I submit. This is now what I weigh. And it's different for everybody. But once your body accepts that, it's difficult to deviate from that weight. I mean, you really have to want to. You're not going to accidentally wake up with a big deviation in weight. And that's why if you've been heavy a long time, the longer you've been, at a certain weight, the more likely it is your body recognizes this is what I weigh, this is how much mass is supposed to be on me, and any deviation from that, the body's going to be resistant. Doesn't mean you can't do it, you can do it, but it's going to fight you. It's going to try and rebound, one way or the other, okay? That's why when you go to build muscle, you build a bunch of muscle, you stop doing whatever you did to build the muscle, oh, I lost all my gains. Well, they weren't really yours yet. You got to maintain it long enough for the body to reset itself and accept that this is the new norm. All right? This is the new norm. And then you don't lose it. Okay? Now you see me on video when I tore this shoulder up, which I'm still rehabbing. Couldn't train, couldn't eat, didn't care about eating properly, didn't work out, didn't do anything for 7 or 8 months. And at the end of it, I was still pretty damn big. I was still over 250 pounds. So yeah, body composition had changed because I had been eating a lot of comfort food because I know what the body does. So I knew if I could just keep the weight up, it would be no problem. I didn't know how long it would take. So if I just keep the weight up, then when I go to get back in shape, it's a lot easier for me then to exchange, to change the composition as long as I'm working within that same vicinity, range of body weight. So having said all of that bullshit, I don't want this to take all day. Here's the crazy thing I do, and it works for me. I don't do it just because I think it's crazy. The first, I do like my own variation on ketosis. And what I do is I drop the carbs, but I also drop the protein. So I slash calories like a monster. Okay, now you got to figure going into this, my protein intake is upwards of almost 400 grams a day, which is a fucking lot of protein. All right? And then my caloric intake is like 6,500 or so calories a day. And doing that, I steadily can slowly keep getting bigger, maintain what I have, and acquire more. So when I go to diet, if I really want to drop the shit off, I want to shock the body. And I want to try to manipulate the body in as much as I can take advantage of the mechanisms that make the body react certain ways that are somewhat predictable. And since I'm going to react that way anyway, rather than fight it, I want to go roll with it and kind of encourage the body, go ahead and do your thing and make it work for me. And what I mean in that is, what I will do is, as I go into my ketosis, I will, like I said, slash the protein also. So I'll drop the protein from like 400 grams to 100 grams, which sounds ridiculous, but bear with me. It's only going to be for, 12, 14-day period, 2 weeks, about like that. And you're not going to lose a bunch of muscle in 2 weeks. I don't care what anybody tries to tell you. It's not going to happen. So I'll drop the protein down to about 100 grams a day. I drop my carbs down to almost non-existent, as close as I can get to that, and walk around without falling over, keeling out, passing out. And the water intake will go up. Protein intake during that time, that 100 grams is almost completely from whey isolate because it's a higher PER rating, and my body can get more out of that, wring more out of that 100 grams than it could if that was 100 grams of, say, casein or something. And of course, there's no lactose and blah, blah, blah. So what happens is the body starts to panic. It thinks it's a period of starvation. It's trying to conserve what it can, but it doesn't have anything to work with. It's only got 100 grams of protein, which it will make do with, and it will try and conserve and maintain muscle with that. But of course, I'm going to flatten out. I'm going to look much smaller. I'm going to drop all kind of shit. And then, what happened was within that 13, 14 day range, I dropped 17 pounds. So then what I do that was at the 13th day, 14th day, the very next day, now I will start to turn the calories back up as another shock to the body. Because this first 2 weeks, the body's finally just coming around saying, okay, I don't like it, it's fucked up, but I'm adjusting. So as it's trying to slow down and adjust, make do, then I come back at it and I roll cardio in. There's no cardio the first 2 weeks. I roll in cardio, introduce cardio very gradually, just, very light cardio. I get in the fat burning zone, but I'm only going to do 25 minutes the first time. And I only do this 2 times a week initially. And at the same time, I'm going to raise the protein up now, and I will raise the carbs up a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. And I will watch my body and be ready to, adjust and do what I got to do from there, depending on what it looks like. So what the body's going to do is, now that it has some nutrition, it says, okay, I want to rebound. So it wants to come back. It wants to cling and absorb everything I put into it because it's been starving. So it wants to hang on to every calorie. Well, with me targeting the fat, with the L-carnitine that I drink before I work out, before I do my cardio, and the cardio, so I'm doing everything I can to bang on the body fat, to beat the body fat down. And I'll use a lot of caffeine in this time period through coffee. I'll drink it interspersed throughout the day. I don't want caffeine pre-workout. It's detrimental to me then, but it's a very useful tool otherwise. It is what it is. If it works, it works. And so the body wants to, do something with the new nutrition. It wants to try and rebound, but I'm attacking fat. So all it can do, the only thing it can do is it can maintain muscle, or believe it or not, I know you're not going to believe it, it can try and regain some muscle if I lost a little bit. It can try and replace some of the mass with muscle, because it's just, I'm making it almost impossible for it to do it with fat. So it will try. Now, don't expect miracles, but you can see what I look like. Going into this diet, now I'm steadily getting leaner and I'm getting bigger. So I play with the protein intake. Right now, I'm at about, it's not crazy. I'm not counting. Like I said, I look at what I look like and adjust from there. I'll say, okay, let's add another 30 grams of protein, or let's back the carbs down. So now I'm carb cycling, and I'm running the carbs at, like, I'd say I may hit 100 grams. Carbs are still low. I may hit 100 grams. Now, if I feel anything bloated, looking a little smooth, looks like maybe too many carbs, then what I will do then, I want enough to get, it's nice to get pumps again and stay a little fuller, but I'm not going to overdo it. So if I feel like that it's piling up to be too much, then I will take a day where I'll slice those carbs, like drop those carbs down. And then, I may come back the next day and hit it with 100 or 150 grams of carbs, maybe. And the protein now is going to be probably, I don't really count it, I'm going to guess about 200 grams a day. So not a shitload, but in these conditions, it's enough, because the body wants to rebound, and the body is still going through all kind of drama, doesn't know what's going on, and I'm continually switching it up. So, the body is going to try and cling to muscle. And it literally is still gaining muscle back now. So I'm getting bigger every day, and I'm getting leaner every day. So it can be done. It's very easy. I've done this many times before, but it was much more complicated the way I did it before. The way I did it before was a super huge amount of protein, just making myself an incinerator, and doing a similar approach, similar mindset, but with so much protein on hand, just making my metabolism, interspersed in small feedings around the clock, so that I'm just burning, and along with the cardio to keep things moving along, it speeds my metabolism up, and it creates a caloric deficit, because even though in that case I'm taking in lots of nutrition, I'm speeding that metabolism up like a madman. You walk around sweating in those conditions. But at my age, I don't think it's the healthiest thing to do to turn that protein up, that crazy high. So if I could do it this way, that's why I wanted to try it. And it has been working like gangbusters. So doing it this way, I think, is a lot safer and a lot healthier for me. So now what I'll do is ride this out. I don't have to, I'm figuring by December-ish, I should be pretty friggin' lean. Pretty damn lean by December-ish. And somewhere in December, not in any rush, I don't care if it's the last day of December or the first day of December, when I'm pretty lean, then we're going to switch gears again, and I'm going to go ahead and pile on some more muscle, so that by March, I should be plenty big and plenty lean. And the proof is, of course, that I will be, and in between here and there, you'll see steady changes. Now, I may, in the next couple days, switch up more, do something different, because you got to be ready to assess what's going on and to roll with the changes. You got to always, be prepared to modify things. And so this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Works for me. If you don't know your body that well, it may not be the thing for you to do. I have all kind of tools at hand that I can employ. I can check my blood glucose level whenever I want. I can, that's not necessary right now. But if I feel like it is, like something's happening, I'm not sure, that I can check. Versus what I take in before my workout now, where I would normally take in 100, 150 grams of that carbolin. Well, now I may take in 50, and that's allowing myself a good bit. And I'm getting pumped from it. I'm getting a nice pump, and I'm pretty sure I'm using most of that. So it's not making it difficult to continue to lose body fat. And if I had any doubt, then I would check my sugar level. I would run my sugar levels. I'd want to make sure that I was low after that workout. I don't want to have a whole excess bunch floating around my bloodstream. I want to consume what I'm taking in. Anyway, that's it for now. I know there'll probably be a lot of questions about this. I don't mind answering them. But you got to understand, this is just my approach, and ultimately, you need to find out what works for you, for your individual body. Now, there are a whole bunch of just outlines of diets out there that are going to get the job done. They're going to work. But, to really find out what works great for you, don't be afraid to tweak things. Don't be afraid to try things and find your way. So that's it. I just want to share that with you. A lot of people have been asking me what I've been doing. This is what I'm doing.